Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Didikanku with your host, David. Today, we have a very special and interesting guest. His name is Ustad Yusuf Daud. He is a uh, ambassador, peace ambassador
Yeah.
for KAIICID. He's also a lecturer, and he is also a practitioner of Sufism. So please welcome to our channel, Yusuf Daud.
Thank you very much, David Baldwin. It is nice to know you, even though through the Zoom
It's
link.
it's a
And
pleasure to have you.
yeah, and it's a pleasure too to have you here. Thank you very much for short introductions, and I am very happy to have a conversation with you. Anything, or we can discuss what happened today, past, or the future.
Awesome. Well, I think you are a lecturer. You're an ambassador for peace,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of our viewers perhaps would like to know a little bit about your background. How did you become an ambassador of peace for KAIICID? What exactly is KAIICID, and where exactly do you lecture?
Yeah. Um, Let me introduce first. My name is Yusuf Daud. I was born in Jakarta. My parents, Betawi origins. People called now orang Jakarta Selatan. Yeah, because I was born in Jakarta Selatan, South Jakarta, and
Yeah.
also I was raised in Jakarta, and I live exactly in front of Jakarta International School, JIS.
Oh, wow. I
Uh-huh.
live very close to there too.
Ah, that's why my background since I was since I was in the elementary school, uh, many friends from many countries because of the students of Jakarta International School at that time. Most of them from European countries, America, Australia, New Zealand, and Africans, and most of the children of the ambassadors of foreign countries, in Indonesia,
Right.
study in this, and I keep making friends with them.
Wow,
So
very
that
good.
is, I think, I keep in meditating why I become like today. And then when I trace to my childhood, I think because of since I was in elementary students, I keep making friends with foreign students because they always uh, stay late before going home to have a
Right.
coffee, to have a late lunch in my sister's store. We call warung kopi.
Right, like a little coffee shop, yeah?
Yes, a little coffee shop. They hang around there, and in my mind, why didn't I keep studying my English to be perfect since then?
Awesome.
And
Wow, very
and
good.
from that point, I have a dream to be ambassador of Indonesia. I don't know where, but now as peace ambassador of KAIICID. I think that's one of my dream from childhood become
Wow.
become a dream come true.
Wow. So all of this started because you met people from other countries. You had this opportunity. Um, I guess you could say it's chance maybe, or it's fate that all of these kids or students went to your sister's shop, and you were able to meet so many people
Yeah,
from different countries,
different
uh,
cultures.
different cultures,
Yeah,
which gave you this idea. I want to
yeah,
be an ambassador.
yeah,
And you ended up as an ambassador of peace.
Yeah,
for KAIICID.
KAIICID.
So,
Yeah,
so what exactly is KAIICID? Can you explain what KAIICID means, or what
yeah.
is the I guess what's it short for?
KAIICID is the intergovernment intergovernmental organization. The headquarters of KAIICID is in Vienna,
Mhm.
in Australia, and KAIICID is King Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz Center for Interfaith and Intercultural Dialogue.
Okay.
And I was appointed as ambassador of peace from KAIICID after 1 year studying there in 2014
Wow.
in KAIICID. And then after that, I give lectures, I give seminar, workshop, training workshop all over Indonesia
Mm.
to embrace. I mean, to teach, to give training to young millennial generation, especially how important to respect, to understand, and to tolerance one another. So that's
Wow.
why it
So,
is a big challenge for me, even though I am not an ambassador of Indonesia for other countries.
right.
Yeah, now I am an ambassador of peace, much more important today, right? Because more and
Absolutely.
more radicalism, more and fundamentalism, terrorism. So my field of studies also related to uh, peace building studies and
Right.
also interfaith studies and also mystical dimension of every religions. My
Mm.
study backgrounds, my master
So, sorry.
degree.
So you
Yeah,
actually study different religions as well. It not
yes, exactly. Yeah,
and you try to understand and break down.
yeah,
Wow. Okay.
exactly.
Interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Fascinating.
My undergraduate study, I graduated from University of Indonesia, study of Arabic literature,
Yeah.
and then I continue for scholarship for international affairs, also in University of Indonesia.
Yeah.
Study international affairs, Middle East, and Islamic studies. And
Mm.
after that, I am the first Muslim scholar from Asia countries to be elected or awarded scholarship from Nostra Aetate, from
Mm.
Vatican Council,
Wow.
to study in Rome, in Vatican, about
Amazing.
the relations of Christian and Muslim relations and Muslim and other religions relations. So that's why I think no wonder if I can see now as an ambassador of KAIICID, um, before, yeah, my study, my field of expert is related to one another.
Right. So what's interesting is, I interview a lot of people here, which are usually coaches,
Yeah,
parenting coaches, business coaches, executive coaches. You seem to be like a spiritual coach.
you may say like that.
In a way, you're coaching people,
Yeah,
but through spirituality,
yeah,
helping them to understand that each faith, even though it's different,
yeah.
we still need to be able to respect and understand and have an open dialogue with one another. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, exactly right. You know why? The backgrounds made me learn deeper and dive deeper to the ocean of light.
Hmm.
So since 20 years ago, I think more than 22 years ago, I think, I started studying mystical dimension of every religions. I mean, in terms of spirituality, the
Right.
teaching of spirituality from every religions.
Right.
So from that point, and then not only theoretically, but also practically, because
Wow.
in terms of mystical dimension of religions, they are theoretical and also
Right.
practical. So
Right.
you may, if now my background of Islamic studies is tasawwuf, Sufism,
Yeah.
and mystical dimension of Islam.
Yeah.
You may say it is practical Sufism and it is theoretical Sufism.
Okay.
It is Sufi Nazori. It is Sufi Amali. Amal means practice.
Practice. Okay.
Mhm.
So Nazuri must mean the
Theory.
mystical or theory side of it.
Yeah, theory side. Mm.
I see. So, you say that you've studied the mystical side of all these different religions. I mean, you've been to Rome, you've been
Yeah.
to
Every
uh,
holy place is in the world.
all these holy places. You've dived deep into
Uh-uh.
these religions. I'm very curious. Have you found many similarities between these religions, and what are they?
Of course, there is one very good sayings. Um, there are many ways to Rome. Banyak jalan menuju Roma,
Right, there's
right?
many roads to Rome. That's
To
right.
Rome,
Or
right?
many roads lead to Rome, I
To
believe.
Rome, yeah. Uh, and we should, as me, as a Sufi practitioner, uh, always give lecture, give understanding to people who wants to study, to learn deeper about spirituality. I always keep saying, um, we must accept diversity, yeah, and then
Mhm.
we must embrace also uh, the differences,
Mm.
So we embrace differences and we accept diversity, menerima perbedaan, merangkul
Right,
keragaman, right?
right.
So in terms of that, I found not so many. I think more than uh, 80%, I think, from all of religion that I study. The similarity that probably there are many ways, but we have the same goal, right?
Mhm. Mm.
So
Yes.
we are not talking in terms of dialogue. We are not talking about the differences. Yes, we are. We have our own uniqueness, our own cultures that
Yeah.
it must be different, right? But we still have the same goals.
Yes.
What are the
This is
goals?
sorry. This is why I asked you, like, what are the similarities, not the differences. I know the
Yeah,
differences.
yeah. The similarity is the same goals. We have the same God. We
Right,
have the same God and different names,
right.
name of God.
Yeah.
So we don't compare the names because the names, different names, many names, like what in Islamic studies, 99 beautiful names of gods, but who names the owner of the name is only one. You may say God as Allah, you may say God as Yahweh, you may say God as Elohim, we may say God
Just as
what
God, maybe.
or the great consciousness or whatever you name it.
Right.
But any name lead to one
Destination.
single absolute reality.
Mm.
There's the similarity.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So you do a lot of lectures on this, and I'm sure that you have these open dialogues,
Yeah,
and I think with you being an ambassador of peace, this means that as you mentioned, you're trying to get people to understand that even though there's diversity in the culture, in the practice, the destination is always the same.
yeah.
So my question is, have you ever had a dialogue where someone couldn't agree with you, or someone couldn't come to that same, or someone kept challenging you,
Yeah.
saying that, oh, maybe no, this religion actually leads this way, not, it's not all the same. Have you ever met that, and what happened in that instance?
Not I met, but not 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 every time, but many times. Many times I had an experience about that. I mean, the challenging
Right.
that I faced during the dialogue, that and then what should I say, and then what should I do to face the challenge environment? Because
Mhm.
as an ambassador, we need not to be angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to be keep calm. We
You need
need
patience,
we
basically.
need patience and more peace inside in
Mm.
order not to be in order not to be, how do we call it, not to get challenged with them. So
Right.
I told them, even though even sometime uh, I had a bad experience, that what is Sufism, what is Sufi, how people call you Sufi as a Sufi practitioner. Sufi is nonsense. Some of them say like that. And
Oh.
I told them, because someone that who wants to be Sufi, you must leave everything behind.
Mm.
You may not work anymore. You may leave your families. You sometimes you may leave your job, for example, because as long as you still engage with material words, yeah, with outer words, you cannot touch God.
Mm.
Some people, I think most of people who don't understand about my background, the tasawwuf or Sufism, will say like that,
Mm. Right.
because in many books of Sufism, keep misunderstanding information about tasawwuf. When you
Mm.
want to be the Sufi, you must leave everything behind. I
Mm.
disagree with that
Well,
because
sorry, because
yeah,
it sounds a little bit like, I, I mean, religions I've studied, which are Christianity, Catholic,
yeah,
Protestant. It sounds a lot like, in Catholic Christians, where they say you need to leave your family, leave your mother, leave your
yeah,
father. It sounds very similar to that. And I think a lot of people misinterpret that as well.
yeah,
So I'm finding, sorry, just I'm finding this a similarity here with what I know
yeah.
and what you're saying. So I
In
just
in
wanted to
in
bring that.
in term of my prophet uh, in Islam, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the Sufi path is not a path of retreat from
Mm,
the world.
yeah.
It's not a retreat from the world, but a way of seeking the divine while still actively engaged with this world. In short way, keep our hands busy with our duties, and in this world, I mean, keep our hands busy with our duties in this world, and our heart busy with God.
Mm,
That's what Sufi studies teaching us. Well, quite different with Christian or Catholic studies, because that's why uh, I said uh, like this to you, because in terms of Catholic studies, when you want to be a priest, yeah, you cannot marry, right?
right. You
As a
have to
priest
give
of
up
Catholic,
everything. Yes.
yeah, you have to give up everything. That's not the teaching of the true Sufi, the true Tasawwuf, the true spirituality in terms of Islamic studies. That's
Mm,
why when Prophet Muhammad say, do not follow the Rahbaniyah. Rahbaniyah means
yeah.
living away from outer world.
Mm.
Uh, uh,
So live within the world.
live within, live within inside and keep distance with people. And then, yeah, that's why they might live in the monastery, right? They keep isolated them in very far away small temple, but cannot reach by most of the people, right?
True.
But in terms of Sufism, in terms of Tasawwuf or Islamic studies, we cannot do that way. We
Mm.
do to harmonize between the outer and the inner life.
Wow, that's
I think the most of the spirituality from all of religion teach us to be balanced. You know,
no, that's true.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
I don't think any religion actually tells you that you need to remove yourself from
yeah,
anything worldly. And I
yeah,
think that is a misinterpretation. Uh,
exactly,
we live in this world
yeah,
and we need to, as you said, we need to be part of it, but
yeah,
also still have some sense of, I guess, spirituality. And
yeah,
everyone has their own
yeah,
way of expressing that spirituality, that
exactly,
connection with a
yeah.
higher power, right?
Mhm.
So that's quite interesting. So
Yeah,
sorry, tell me more about this debate that you had where someone
yeah.
said,
And then
what happened?
someone asked me, Pak Ustad, I don't need your speech.
Hmm,
Yes, I mean, our brothers from non-Muslim
yes,
community, because when I finished studying from Vatican, um, they allow me and ask me to share my opinions openly, what I like and dislike about all the religions, especially the Catholic studies, and my opinion as Muslim scholar to Christian studies to, or Catholic studies to others. And then some of the, yeah, I mean, the misunderstanding person, the followers of Catholic and Christian, keep saying, "Pak Yusuf, I don't need you because you are not Catholic, you are not Protestant like me. So I don't need your arguments. I don't need your perspective. I don't need your speech."
yeah.
And
So
then
basically, they like close their mind
close
automatically.
their mind, close their hearts. But I keep saying this. I keep visiting their churches, their communities all over Indonesia. I think more than uh, 300, 400 churches.
Wow.
And then, but most of them agree with me, agree
Yeah.
with my opinions because they also now, I think during last 15 years until now, they need critical from outside. I
Right.
mean, from Muslim people, especially from the majority largest Muslim population in Indonesia, to make their religion far more better and also to be not misunderstood by others.
Right.
Because
Well,
many,
I just want to add, like, even despite being in a majority of an Islamic population, I think we need to have dialogue and criticism of any
exactly,
religion, right?
yeah, yeah. And then I asked because I did this because I love my Catholic brothers. I love my Hindu brothers. I love my every fellow, every person followers of other religions in Indonesia. Because Indonesia become like this because of who you are.
Mm,
Not the same religions, not the same cultures, not the same ritual. What make Indonesian rich because of us,
right.
the
Diversity, right?
diversity and differences. So
Right.
we must keep doing like that, come as we are, But in term of our goals, to return back to the origin, to return back to our center, to return back to God, of course, we cannot agree about that.
Mm.
You may say your God Elohim, you may say your
Right,
God
right.
Allah, I say my God Allah, but we still have the same goals.
And sorry, so what about those people who are atheists and don't recognize any God?
Yeah,
What about those people? Have you had a dialogue with those people, and what was that like?
of course. Even though my teacher who teach me interfaith dialogue, he is atheist. Can you
Wow,
imagine? Can you
interesting.
imagine?
Yeah.
Right? And then I criticize him. How can you be atheist and you teach us about interfaith and intrafaith dialogue?
Hmm.
And you are not in the religion. How? And
I'm
I asked
waiting
him,
for your answer.
yeah,
It's fascinating.
he kept silent. And then I agree with you, but my expertise is professionality. Yes, but you must miss one single thing. One single thing that you must, as a lecturer, as a professor of interfaith, because they are inter and intra. Intra
Right.
means dialogue between Muslim and Muslim.
Yes.
That what should be more organized more and more in today's world like this.
Right.
Yeah, and interfaith between Muslim and non-Muslims with other
Right.
religions. So how can he has a good perspective about intra and interfaith dialogue if he didn't have a religion? I
Mhm.
mean, if he didn't follow one religions, example, and then I asked him, so please, in term of interfaith, I think you are not the right person. In term of intercultural dialogue, that's fine, but in term of interfaith, we need someone who follow one religion or one faith, so
Mm.
they understand about uh, his religion and understand about others. And some of them was they were interested in deeper studying about religions after I keep in, I keep giving them information about. I think there are no people no, in this world who has no religions.
Mm.
I disagree, he said. But I said, okay, you disagree. You say you are atheist, you are agnostic, you don't believe in God, but you are secular people like many Western people nowadays, right? And how can you say when you say something, God's damn it? You say you are an atheist. You say you are agnostic. You don't believe in God. But you keep saying, God damn it. You keep
Using that
mention your
word.
God. Yeah, you keep mention name of God, but with their God damn it, right? So it's mean in your consciousness and consciousness, still there is a spark of fire. Need to be lit to be a flame of fire. So my duty is to lead a spark of fire inside you to be a flame of fire. And then he keeps smiling.
I see. So basically, he didn't really have an answer, but he
Yeah,
did agree with you that
yeah,
subconsciously, people who even say they're atheists, maybe they don't believe in God as a God, but they believe in something higher of a higher
Exactly.
power, of a
Yeah.
spirituality.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't call it God, they don't call it Allah or Yahweh
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever name, Buddha
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
name given in the traditional sense. I
Yeah.
see what you're trying to
Yeah.
say here.
Yeah. Exactly. Some of them told us that I don't believe in religion, but I believe in God.
Hmm,
Not the God that you name it as Allah, as Yahweh, the great consciousness, as I mentioned it. Oh, that's what we call God in terms of Islam. That's what we
right.
call Allah in Islam. You may name everything. You may name every single names related to one absolute reality.
Hmm,
You may say the absolute reality. We may say the absolute truth or
right.
whatever.
Right. So,
Mm.
sorry, something is piquing my curiosity when you say there's a small flame inside that person, and
Yeah.
your job is to turn that small flame into a fire.
Mhm.
What's your approach when, people have lost, maybe they've lost so much,
Yeah.
especially now during the pandemic. I think
Pandemic. Yeah.
a lot of
Mm.
people are going through depression. A lot of people have lost family, they've lost friends. I mean, not just
Totally.
the pandemic, but
Yeah.
people who go through like catastrophic events where their house goes on fire, they lose everything, and suddenly they lose
Mm.
hope, they lose faith, they lose their trust in whatever God that they believed in at that time. I mean, I'm sure that there's still a small flame in those people,
Yeah.
but as a, I guess I want to say you're a spiritual coach, but as someone who lectures about interfaith, intrafaith, as someone who takes a small spark and whose mission is to turn that into a flame, what would you say to those people
Yeah.
who at a time of
Disrupted word.
yeah,
Mhm.
a time of devastation, a time where
Yes.
they're losing faith, what would you say to them to give them faith again?
Yeah. I keep telling them that this pandemics, or we may say these pains, almost 1 and 8 months today, uh, or we may call suffering, suffering is liberating. I keep saying and told them that suffering that we have now is liberated us. So my approach is to love them and to give service to them and then give compassion to help.
Sorry, can you tell me a little bit more about this suffering is, sorry,
Suffering, yeah,
yeah, suffering is,
is
you said,
liberating.
liberating. Can you
Yeah,
explain this a little bit more?
yeah, because some people, yeah, I think not only some, but most of people, when they have illness, for example,
Yeah.
they instantly wants to be healthy, right?
Hmm.
But and then instantly wanting to go to the doctor to make sure that they are okay, right? But that's in terms of spirituality, it is a long way to do that.
Right.
If we have suffering or illness, just keep calm and look inside and ask the inner heart, why
I see.
the I had now pandemic first. I had COVID today.
Hmm.
Why COVID attacked me, for example, not other family. Why all of my family suffering of COVID-19, for
Hmm.
example.
So
And
what,
then
sorry, so what you're saying is instead of feeling sorry, rather ask themselves, what can I learn from this? Is that right?
yes, exactly.
Okay.
What lesson to learn? What lesson learned that we can have from these pandemics, from this
Hmm.
suffering? So this is
Very good.
first, probably most of people first, at the first time instantly want to be healthy.
Yeah.
So they rush to go to the doctor,
Or
right?
they rush to pray all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe
But
they've never prayed and suddenly they're praying every
yeah,
day.
you know what? You know what? The main important is because they are afraid of death,
Right, exactly.
because death is always haunted them. So why don't you learn about how to die beautifully,
Mm,
and then keep and make them, wow, amaze me, amaze them, and then to keep them uh, feel happy to face the death. You know what? The death is like a wedding night.
mm. That's an
This is,
interesting way to put it. Interesting.
yeah, yeah. Death is like wedding night if we understand and if we know lesson learned from our sufferings.
Right, right. Very
So
true.
what we give, open your heart, open your mind, let's start dance with this universe.
Mm.
I
You
mean, the
know,
breath. This is the breath of the merciful.
right.
Bad sadness and badness coming from the same, the absolute truth, the same, the
Right.
absolute reality.
Well,
So
it's something.
we must jump beyond
Yeah.
duality. Yeah,
Yes. So yeah, there's something there that you're saying that I think is really good when you said that we must learn how to die beautifully because we're all going to die at some point in time.
yeah,
Some people die crossing the road, they get hit
yeah,
by a car. Some
yeah.
some people, you
Kill
know,
him themselves.
some people they're just sleeping and suddenly their life is taken. So I think that's something very interesting that you mentioned there. Learn how to die beautifully, which is basically it. Well, to me as a coach, kind of means learn how to live
Yeah,
and make the most of your life in
yeah,
the present
yeah,
and be the best version of you that you can be,
yeah,
so when your time does come you have no regrets.
yeah,
That's like a beautiful way of putting it.
yeah.
To dive
Yeah, one more I think we must add. I think, yeah, not only teaching how to live beautifully,
mm,
but also to die beautifully.
right.
That's now important today,
Of
right?
course.
Mm.
Wow. So have you met these kind of people, and can you tell maybe an inspiring story where someone was very their flame was almost going out and you were able to bring them back and help them, and what were they going through?
Yeah, since 22 years ago, I think thousands people helped by me
Yeah.
to, I mean, not to be trapped in the net, you know, because we must swim in the ocean without shore,
Mm,
because this is the spirituality, the word of spirituality, ocean without shore. So
right.
uh, we keep motivating them, we keep support them, we keep inspired them by giving them understand, and not only theoretically but also practically, how to get closer to the absolute reality,
Mm,
to reopen our hearts and to come closer to our gods.
mm.
That's what I give them in many training and workshop or spiritual retreat,
Ah, okay.
in term of to to recharge, because
Right.
yeah, because nowadays people, especially from big city, they are very frustrated, we are
Absolutely.
stressful, very depressed, and they need holiday.
They do. And I
Yeah,
think not holiday just from I think not just holiday, but holiday from everything digital as well. They need something
yeah,
like
exactly.
a digital detox.
Yeah, digital detox. That it's mean holiday. Holy means sacred.
Holy, yes, sacred. Exactly.
The sacred day or the sacred or secret day, only you and me, only
Mm,
me and our highest consciousness. So we need to contemplate, to reflect, to meditate, to evaluate, yeah, and to give conclusion to our life. What?
mm,
Because many people don't know who they are,
true.
where who they are, and they don't know what they are doing,
Right.
and they don't know also where they are going.
Right. They don't know their purpose, perhaps.
Yes,
Right.
they don't know their purpose. They don't know how to return. So
Right.
that's why, in terms of spirituality, in terms of spiritual retreat, that I many times organize for people who wants to join. I give them the understanding how to answer who I am, what am
Wow.
I doing here, and where we are going after this life.
You know, this is so interesting because this is what we do through coaching. We help ask questions so people find their own self-awareness.
Yes,
And it's very interesting. You do it through spirituality.
yeah,
And I think the concept is very much the same in a way that we're not just telling them what to do, we're guiding
yeah,
them to
yeah,
find
yeah.
their own self-awareness. I think that's
We bring them not only. Pak Yusuf, do you know how to get to Pondok Indah Mall? Yes, I
right,
know. From here, you may take taxi, you may take
right,
Grab or Gojek or
right,
whatever. So in 5 kilometers, you may arrive in front of Pondok Indah Mall. There are mall second, two, three, four, and then there
right,
are bridge
right, right.
on the top of, but not like that. But the
Of course.
spiritual master or spiritual coach is bring them to the goals, to the
Mhm.
directions,
Actually take them there
take
and
them
then
there.
and then show them everything along the way.
Yeah,
Kind of like a
exactly.
tour guide, right?
Tour guide.
That's a
And
beautiful
after that,
metaphor, I think you've
yeah, yeah, let them play after that with them.
mm,
Let them play as much as they want, and then the rest let flowing.
let the rest happen as it will happen. Que
Yes,
sera sera, I guess, as they say.
casera. Yeah, yeah,
Well, Ustad Yusuf Daud, I do want to keep asking you more questions, especially because now I'm seeing
yeah.
this not just a connection between religions, but there's a connection even between what we do as coaches or as teachers, as mentors. There's a big similarity here. And I could just go on and on asking you questions. Unfortunately, though, our time for this session
Uh,
has unfortunately come to its end. And I would love to have you back if you would be generous enough to, of course, give your time. I'm sure you're a busy person. You're doing lectures, you're a peace ambassador, and you're helping a lot of people. I think it's something really great. But I do want to ask you one last question before we leave for this session. Um, so I ask all my first time guests this question, which is if let's say your time in this world has come to an end. So we're talking about dying beautifully.
Yeah.
You're moving on to a better place. You're
Yeah.
ready to die beautifully. You've accomplished everything that you set out to accomplish. You've become a great peace ambassador. You've practiced your religion, Sufism, to its highest divine purpose, I guess you could say. You've helped many people, but now you can only leave behind two pearls of wisdom
Mm.
for the rest of the world to remember. Everything else you have to take with you to this beautiful place that you're going to. And you can only leave behind two pearls of wisdom. What would they be, these two pearls of wisdom that you would leave behind?
The purpose of life is direct contact with yourself
Mm,
as you are.
wow,
So surrender to wholeness.
wow. Surrender,
Wholeness.
surrender to
To
yourself,
wholeness.
to
To wholeness.
wholeness.
Yeah. Because wholeness is the breath of the merciful.
Mm,
That you may call God, you may call whatever.
right.
So because I want to stress that to address in last session of our nice conversations, um, I die every day.
Mhm.
So I surrender to wholeness every day.
Mm,
If you want to be happy in your new home, not
yep,
new home because that's your origins, yeah, home sweet home, beautiful home, not here, but there.
right.
So surrender to wholeness by die every day.
Mm, wow. So like dying and being resurrected every day. You're just
Yes,
surrendering
exactly.
to I guess like you said, the flow.
Yeah,
That flow, what happened.
exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
And your second pearl of wisdom?
Um, I think I take this word from my favorite Sufi master.
Mm,
Uh, Her name Rabia al-Adawiyah. He said he was asked by her disciples, her students, Rabia, do you love your God? Yes, of course, I love my God. Rabia answered the questions. And then her student asked again, do you hate evils? Do you hate evils? And Rabia said, my love of God leave no time to hate evils.
wow. Powerful.
So from that beautiful word, I keep in my practice daily life to
That's
love
powerful.
more and more creations of God.
Right.
Don't
Right.
live with hatred.
That's very powerful.
Mm.
That's a very powerful saying. That's very simple. Because of your love of something, you're just too busy loving everything
Yeah,
around you that we
yeah.
have no time for hate. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful message.
Because what is outside us is depend on what is inside us.
Right.
If inside us is a beautiful flowers, the butterflies come to us. But
Exactly.
if inside us a rubbish,
The flies come
the
to us.
flames comes. Thank
Exactly.
you,
No,
David.
that's exactly true. That's exactly true. Everything comes from within us. And
Yeah.
I think those are two very powerful pearls of wisdom that you've given there. So I do have one more question. Nothing too
You
deep,
told
but
me this is the last. No one more question.
well, it's not really a question. It's more of a how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more, if they want to go to your lecturers or maybe one of your spiritual retreats, if they want to know more about you as a ambassador of peace for KAIICID, um, how can they get in touch with you? Do you have a website? Do you have materials?
Yeah, of course. They may keep in touch with me, Instagram, Facebook, and KAIICID website, and also every weeks I organize sharing discussion, reading sacred scripture from
Mhm.
different holy books every
Mm.
weeks. Last night we organized that.
Wow, okay. So how can
For
people join that?
I share through my WhatsApp numbers, my profile, and I share to my Facebooks. So they may
Okay.
freely join
Okay. So as
from
long as
what,
they follow you on Facebook,
yeah,
Instagram,
yeah.
they can find this and they can
They can
join
keep
this
update
group.
my activities. Yes.
Awesome. Sorry. So what is your handle on Instagram, on Facebook?
And in Instagram, Udaros 04. Udaros 04.
Udaros04.
Yudaros 04. And Facebook, Yusuf Daud. Yusuf Daud Facebook.
Yusuf Daud. Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
All right. So, for all the listeners out there, if you're interested to hear more and learn more and even interact in this weekly dialogue, I think this
Yeah.
is a very special thing that is being put on by Yusuf Daud. So please, we'll leave the links in the description so you can follow his Instagram, so you can follow him on Facebook, and you can always be updated in where he is, and join those dialogues. So for everyone who has been listening, thank you very much for your time. Ustad Yusuf Daud, thank you very much for your time and your sharing. It's been a great honor having you. And for anyone out there who has been listening, we would appreciate if you have any comments, if you have any questions you would like to ask Ustad Yusuf Daud or myself. Perhaps we could have another session.
I
Yusuf
hope.
Daud, I
I
hope
hope.
so.
I hope. Of course.
I think that would be very interesting. I still have a
Interesting.
lot of
Yeah.
questions to ask you actually. Um, so it would be great if anyone listening, our audience, if you have comments, questions, please leave them there. Perhaps at the next session, we can answer those and address those. So if you've also enjoyed this, please like this video, subscribe to our channel. And again, thank you very much for your time. Ustad Yusuf Dawood, you've been an excellent guest. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David. And it is a wonderful afternoon for me in Surabaya. And I hope I can contact and have a nice, how do we call it, conversation, interview, or dialogue?
I would say it's just a sharing conversation
Sharing conversation.
between
Okay,
two
that's
people.
fine. Okay, and then have a nice day. And I hope
You
till
too.
we meet again.
You too. I hope that we can have a follow-up session and we can learn more from some of your updates, some of your sharings. And I hope that some people also have questions and comments
Yeah.
that we can
Okay.
address in that session. So thank you very much again. Thank you all.
Okay.
We'll see you on the next session. Goodbye for
Thank
now.
you. Bye.